Thank you so much, Farah. Now we have come to our last speaker for week one, Miss Lailatul Zubaidah, which will be moderated by our lovely moderator, Fatin Faisal. Before I introduce Miss Lailatul Zubaidah, let me just inform you guys that we will end the session at 5:30 in the afternoon. However, if the conversation goes beyond 5:30, you are very welcome to stay. But if you have other commitments, we truly understand. So no worries and enjoy the session. Ms. Zubaydah is a former judicial officer and now a private legal practitioner as the principal of her firm LZ Hussein & Co. She is a mother of 5 children, 2 of whom are special needs children. Recently, in September 2021, she was appointed as the Vice President of Law and Humanity of Brunei Red Crescent Society. Her portfolio includes governing board policy and national society status revision, national, regional, and international legal matters, and representing BRC, International Humanitarian Law, Gender and Diversity Forum, and Migration Issues. Ms. Zubaida is also the founder and managing director of Al Farah Health and Nursing Care Sendirian Berhad, a healthcare service provider which was established to support families with private nursing care for their loved ones. Ms. Zubaida is a passionate woman, and she strongly believes in giving back to society, in particular underprivileged special needs family. She is the founder of several community platforms, which includes the Impian Project, Peradian Brunei, and is founder and special advisor for Girls Brunei, an international mentoring and leadership program for young women designed at Harvard University. That is definitely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Lailatul Zubaida, may take the floor. Um, is Miss Lailatul Zubaida and Miss Fatin Faisal here?
Where is my moderator?
Hi,
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm not sure if Miss Zubaida is here.
Yes, I'm here.
I can't see. Oh, you are. Okay. All right, let's get started then. Hi and good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say thank you. And I managed to catch the last 10 minutes of that. I just want to say, Wardia, you're an awesome presenter. I wish I got to see all of you guys punya presentations. My name is Fatin Faisal. I just want to say thank you to BIBD Yes, and of course Shaun from Curious Minds for inviting me to be the moderator for today's interview with none other than Miss Lailatul Zubaidah. Yeah, we've personally had a couple of inspiring meetings and conversations to prepare for today, and I have no doubt at all that inshallah, of course, everyone will leave with some valuable tools on how to manage adversities in your own lives. I hope you guys are feeling inspired. I'm so excited for us to get started on today's topic. And with that, I want to say hello to Miss Zubaidah.
Hi, Fatin. Right. Wow. That didn't get off to a good start for me. I was on mute, I think, in the beginning and completely forgot that I'm supposed to be speaking to a moderator. Anyhow, well, I guess I'll kick this off. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamu alaikum, and a good afternoon to everyone who is here today. I'd like to thank, first off, I'd like to thank Shaun of Curious Minds for the kind invitation to contribute to BIBD Yes 2021. I hope my sharing today will be useful to our young ones, as I like to call them. As someone who has been there and done that, and someone who has come through some difficult times, even though many times over, I was only able to do so by the skin of my teeth. It is important for our young ones to know that inspiration can be found everywhere. In every story that might seem irrelevant or insignificant to you, my own take on this is that every learning will have its purpose. And if it seems irrelevant or not useful now, there's a good chance that it may well be later on as you navigate yourself through this journey called life.
Yeah, I feel like the key word there. Oh, sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's it. I'm waiting for your question.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like how you put that. And I think the key word there is navigating through life.
Yes.
So I think that's definitely
we've established we like that word, navigating.
Yep. So from that, can you please share with us the main adversities you've faced in your life so far?
Plenty. I hope we have a day or two. Shaun, can we have a day?
Can we extend it, Shaun?
Take it away. Take it away.
I think for the benefit of our young ones, I think I want to explain what the difference is first between adversity and a setback, just for context. So for me, a setback is an obstacle, which is generally fixable. Like finding out the shop doesn't have the size of the Converse sneakers you want. Adversity to me is more of a life-changing situation. Okay. So if I were to talk about every adversity that I have experienced, we might need a day or two. Shaun, please. But for the purposes of today and relatability, I'll touch on perhaps 3 major life-changing situations, out of which there were many lessons I feel were completely designed to only equip me for what lay ahead. So I'm going to take a chronological approach to this, okay? And I think I'll start off with having to survive my parents' divorce, okay? So in a nutshell, like having to face this head on as a 16-year-old, threw all normalcy out of the window, okay? I had no choice but to adapt. And but it proved to be a better situation all around. Okay. 30 years later, in 2014, the passing of my parents, that completely derailed me, in particular my mother. I was her primary caregiver for a good 13 years after her diagnosis, her cancer diagnosis, and accompanying her to her treatments in Singapore and spending a great deal of time with her in hospital. Losing her is still an incredibly painful burden to carry around. But at the same time, honoring my parents' legacy is a powerful driver and motivator for me in life. Finally, my sharing would not be complete without mention of my 5 beautiful children, in particular having to deal with the special needs diagnosis of my youngest 2, Hassan and Fatima. So 2018 was the year that really changed my life. And alhamdulillah, despite the great challenges, it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, okay, so
Yeah,
you've definitely been through a lot, from your parents' divorce to their passing, and of course the challenges of raising your children as well. But I also like how you clarified the difference between adversity and setback. I think that will be really helpful for our audience today. So just bouncing off of the most recent adversity, how did the story unfold after your daughter Fatima was born?
wow, Fatima. Okay, so 2018, she was born in November. And I had a pretty problematic pregnancy. So I was in hospital for a good 2 months anyway before she was born. And also in the 3 months or 4 months while I was pregnant with her, Hassan was also red flagged for autism. So I was juggling quite a bit, I was juggling work. I had this pregnancy with lots of complications. And also at the same time, trying to manage therapy for my son, at the earliest opportunity for him. So Fatima was born, and I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that there was a medical condition involved. So she was born. Doctors didn't know what was wrong with her. She was born floppy. We almost lost her, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
So that picture of her it's a powerful picture for me. that was her at 3 months old after heart surgery. So she's on a ventilator. So it's not a very pretty picture, but it wasn't a very good time. It wasn't a very good time, but it is what it is. So she was finally diagnosed after 2 weeks with Charge syndrome, which is a very rare genetic disorder. Fatima is the only known surviving child with Charge syndrome in Brunei. Really the first year is very make or break. Many children don't survive the first year. As life would have it, her diagnosis, Hassan's diagnosis, his formal diagnosis of autism was given to me in the same week. So you can imagine the 24 hours that followed. I think it was Fatima first and then Hassan. So when the doctors told me about Hassan as well, the whole world did come crashing down. And I literally cried for 24 hours after. But after having that big cry, I just had to dust my knees off. Really had to get up. Had to get back up. I had this baby who was in the neonatal intensive care unit, where she stayed for a good 4 months in Brunei.
Wow.
So life had to go on. We had to soldier on together as a team. And so we just to cut a long story short, we spent a good year in hospital. So from Ripas in Brunei, we spent 4 months there. First 4 months of her life was in the ICU in Brunei, and then thereafter we spent the next year in Singapore. So I lived out of a suitcase for that whole time. I didn't work. I had my other children in Brunei. So I was managing my daughter in hospital, who was having surgery after surgery after surgery. Fatima's had 18 surgeries so far. She's only just turned 3. So this is an adversity as opposed to a setback, because this was our life. So I had to manage my other children in Brunei. So, across the seas, and also having to make sure that Hassan was also getting the right help in Brunei, because he already had a formal diagnosis.
Zubaidah,
Yeah.
Zubaidah, Shaun here.
Yes, Shaun.
I just wanted to jump in. Adversity happens. No matter how well you plan anything, anything that will go wrong will go wrong. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
And it sounds like it's the toughest time that you have been.
Yeah.
Why do you call this the best thing ever happened to you? It just doesn't make sense to anyone listening here.
Well, I believe I'm a firm believer that adversity, and dealing with adversity, it leads to growth. It just leads to growth. And because there is nothing else that you can do, really, if you're already facing a really bad situation, the only way is through. And you have to do everything that you can to get there. And so it is growth. That's why I say it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because despite, and I'll come back to this later, but despite all the doors that closed on me as a result of this life episode, so many other doors opened. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Incredible, incredible. Sorry, I had to change my background quickly there because I had uploaded the wrong one. Thank you, Shaun, for chiming in. I just wanted to get back to the story of Fatima and the unfolding of that. It sounded like a lot emotionally, and I kind of want to get into, you know, would you say that you've grieved and had time to kind of take it all in, and, you know, how did you get through that?
Grieving. I don't think I've had time to grieve the life we could have had, I think. Yeah, I got too busy, you know, sort of managing all 5 children, not just the 2, but all 5. So I feel that grief is an ongoing process still for me. It still creeps up on me from time to time. So there is, you know, there are days when it really does still get to me. So, you know, adversity is, this story that I'm sharing with you isn't just about, you know, the highs of or the ingredients of successful overcoming of adversity. There is a very human side of it, you know, and you know, it's a necessary part of it, which is the low days. But I think what I want to get across in saying that I haven't really completed my grieving process is that I have not been prevented from chasing my dreams and doing everything I need to do to be that example to my children, to be useful to my community. Yeah, so just keep going.
Incredible. It's so amazing that, you know, even through all the adversities that you faced, like, you still remain so optimistic and positive through it all. And it sounds like, you know, you've had to make a lot of crucial decisions, you know, through as you navigate through these adversities. So how do you know personally, you know, what the right step to take is? How do you make that decision?
Okay.
Good question. Wow.
Okay.
You don't, do you?
No, but I think I'll just share my experience. Again, you know, no right or wrong. Every person is different. Every person's experience is different. But instinct is one. Okay, so you go with your instinct. You know, no one else knows you better than yourself. You know your strengths. You know your limitations. You know your weaknesses. For me, in this particular situation, empowering myself with knowledge set the course for me. And you can imagine how difficult this was for me, because, you know, even doctors were struggling with, you know, their findings, you know, of Fatima. No one knew. For 2 weeks, the doctors had no idea what was wrong with her, right? Until a specialist consultant came back from a conference. So we only really knew what was wrong with Fatima after 2 weeks.
Wow.
And in that time, only after her diagnosis was I able to go on this fact-finding mission. Okay, right. And I couldn't find anything locally. Okay, I couldn't find anything locally, so I had to go on Facebook and connect with other parents. Okay, I connected also with autism parents in Brunei. You know, that was relatively easier, but Fatima was just such a huge curveball like that. So yeah, so knowledge is power, definitely, Shaun. And after that, you know, if you want to ask me what were the right steps to take after that, well, I didn't work, and I was working as a judge before that. I was a magistrate and a judge up till that point. So, you know, with staying in hospital and having to go over to Singapore, I had to take a leave of absence from work. And at that point, we really didn't know what was going to happen to Fatima, you know. We didn't know whether she was going to survive. You know, it all looked very, very bleak at that point in time. I think we almost lost her a couple of times over. So I knew, so as a mother, I knew, okay, there is no way I can go back to the job. You know, even with her in hospital, even if I could juggle, there was no way that I could go back to the job. So in terms of my career, in that very uncertain situation, I did the only certain thing I could do, which was to give it up.
Wow.
Sorry, what do you mean by give it up? Sorry, Fatin, I'm so sorry. This is so interesting. I just have to ask.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm like everyone else at the edge of the seat.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, Fatin.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm the same. I'm like, tell us more.
Yeah. So I gave up, you know, I gave up the job. I completely gave up the job. Yeah. And it was funny because, you know, I never thought that, you know, being a judge, right? All you really need to do is to put in the tenure, you know, and then you will get elevated from, you know, from the lowest court right up to the highest court. And, you know, my whole life, I just thought, oh, you know, I'm gonna live as a judge and probably die as one too.
Wow.
That was the goal. That was the goal. And so, but and I had the doctors tell me very early on, actually, when Fatima was about 2 months old, you know, they gave me a heads up and said, you know, you're probably going to have to give up your career. And even at that point, it didn't seem real.
Wow.
It really, really didn't seem real. And I just walked around a little bit dazed, I think, you know, just trying to process what the doctor was saying. But I ended up doing it. And then I had to, and then because of need and so necessity,
Right.
I set up Farah Nursing. And this is a bit of a funny story because Farah Health and Nursing Care was incorporated in, you know, from Fatima's hospital bedside.
Wow.
I had no business plan. I had nothing. All I knew was that I needed to be able to employ nurses for Fatima if we were ever going to see the light of day outside the hospital.
Right.
It was necessary. We wouldn't have been able to cope, I think, without nurses. So that is, yeah. I don't know whether they're the right steps, but they were definitely the steps that I had to take. And Alhamdulillah, they have not gone against me so far.
I mean, wow. It just sounds like a lot of uncertainties, you know, from leaving your job to starting the business to starting the care. So did it not lead to more challenges for you? Kind of, you know, you were facing so many adversities already at the time. You know, taking the leap and taking the jump to do something where you literally had no plan, no background in that area. You know, how did you go through that, and what other challenges did it lead to?
Okay, so yeah, my very human response was I didn't know what to do with myself. You know, day in, day out, I was Fatima's primary carer. You know, spending so much time in hospital. And in fact, actually, I probably knew what I was more in that time than when she actually left hospital and came back home. Because I knew, okay, I'm not a judge. I am now her mom and her carer. So I knew, that time I knew. But when she came home and I didn't have a job to go back to, I spent a lot of time just asking myself, who am I? I don't know what I am anymore. My professional experience as a magistrate and a judge, you know, was so career specific. I don't think I could really have applied for a job in a bank, for example. It was just so outside my realm of expertise. So at the age of 40, how old am I? Am I not 25?
She looks young though. Okay, I must say you do look really, really young, like 20s. I'm talking 20s.
So at
She almost sleep.
40,
Oops.
42, Shaun, at 42,
Wow.
I was at career crossroads. Okay. And I like what the early speakers talked about in terms of agility in responding to adversity, adaptability. So adversity leads you to create, hold on, my son is here. Excuse me, I need. Okay,
we
now
say
I know I'm a mother now. I'm a mother now. Okay, there you go. So I was forced to create options for myself. Okay, and I had to get very creative. And so, you know, even though my professional expertise was, you know, in judicial work, I thought, hey, you know, I can do something in law. And if someone had said to me 5 years ago, you will set up your own law firm, I would have said, no way, I am not setting up my own law firm. I'm a judge through and through, you know, this is what I was born to do. There's no way I'm setting up a law firm. It's too much hard work. But I had to stay relevant. And it's also what I love. Okay, so you respond accordingly. You respond in a way that you know will draw out your strengths.
Right.
So on that note, I would tell our young ones, in adversity, there is opportunity to self-develop and really, really challenge your potential. And sometimes that happens because you have no choice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Wow.
Wow. Powerful.
Wow.
Was I the only one that heard that? Okay, technical difficulties. Wow, I think that's a lot. It's just amazing in terms of your perspective on how everything has gone. Yeah, as I said before, you just remain positive and so optimistic. It's just amazing. I just wanted to, I'm wondering though, you know, you did sacrifice quite a lot to start this, you know, these new chapters in your life. Do you have personally any regrets with the decisions that you've made?
None whatsoever. None. And none. You know, faith is the foundation of living. Okay? We all have to believe in something, whatever religion you place your convictions in. We plan, but Allah plans, and He knows best always. That's what I have to say. There's not much I can say about regrets. I just simply have none.
Yeah.
You're
It's
making
incredible.
600 people cry. Sorry.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I think, you know, when we think of adversities and like our own, the things that we've gone through, we kind of wish that there's like a specific route to take, a specific, you know, 1, 2, 3 step to kind of take so that we can get through it easier. So, you know, throughout the years of your adversities that you faced, do things ever get easier, or did things get easier for you?
No, not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. I think I can share that actually after Fatima was born, my marriage also broke down because it couldn't take the strain. Okay. So, but I think fortunately by that time I had, you know, enough mileage, I think, and enough tools to be stronger. Okay. So things don't get easier you get stronger. And I would have to say to our young ones, manage your expectations of life. Be ready for any kind of divergence from the big plan. And acceptance of this is a huge, huge factor in overcoming adversity. Okay, because only then will you be able to position yourself to embrace the hard and the heavy and move towards solutions.
So beautifully put. I feel like everything you're saying is just, I think I mentioned this to you before. It's like, it's just so quotable. I have so many quotes for, basically the rest of my life now. Yeah, I think there's also a theme, I feel like, with everything that you're saying. I feel like, can you describe kind of the positive or side of adversity, or the beauty of adversity?
I think this will take us back to Shaun's earlier question, and the answer would be the same. You grow. You grow. You just absolutely grow. And I think, 5 years ago, I don't think I would be this calm. I don't think I would be this positive and optimistic about life. I don't think I would be as grateful as I am about all the, for all the many things in my life, whether they are hard things or good things, you just become very, very grateful. So that's the beauty of adversity.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to jump in very, very quickly, guys. Excuse me, Miss Moderator, Tintin.
Hi.
Zubaidah, we have just crossed 5:30 mark.
Yeah.
And, I just wanted to make sure you all know that, we are enjoying the conversation, but we want to be thoughtful of the people who have made other arrangements. We would want to stay on. For those who want to leave, we would understand. For those who cannot get enough of, the wisdom of Zubaidah, feel free to stay. If we can have about 15 more minutes of your time, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Tintin, I'll give
last question, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we're actually on our last question, but I do see that people have their hands up. So I'm
There's so many people wanting to ask you questions, so you're not going home, Zubaidah. I'm sorry.
Okay,
we are
I'm
staying
happy
for
to
2
stay.
days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we are on our last question, I think.
We are. I think I just wanted kind of a summary of everything. And if you could leave, our amazing audience, our amazing young audience today with a final message in terms of managing adversity, what would that be?
Okay. Well, there is no manual, all right, for overcoming adversity. No manual. No right or wrong. Okay. You will have to pick up from other people's sharings. So, sharings like this are so useful. And this is not something that I had when I was 20 something. Okay, so you have an advantage, there is a gift in the man called Shaun Hoon, who has given, this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm listening.
So, he is a gift. He is a gift to Brunei youth, in striving to give life skills, coping skills to our young ones, because you have to accept that life is a roller coaster. You just have to ride it. Okay, you just have to ride it. So just on this note, just in my closing, I think I want to share a story about a camel. So this story comes from one of my favorite hadiths from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it involves a Bedouin man who was leaving his camel without tying it. So the Prophet ﷺ asked the man, why don't you tie your camel? And the Bedouin man answered, I put my trust in Allah. But the Prophet ﷺ replied, tie your camel first, and then put your trust in Allah. Okay. And so just to sum up that takeaway, I interpret it as empower yourself with knowledge and do all that is humanly possible to improve your situation. Okay, so that involves being agile, being adaptive to the situation at hand. Okay, to improve it, and then just trust Allah, and give up control, surrender. And so overcoming adversity is really all about cultivating the right attitude to it. Once you have the right attitude to it, I think life can throw whatever it can at you, and you will survive. You really, really will. So that's it from me.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
You are not leaving, Zubaidah.
Bye.
We have so many questions. Miss Chell, have been having her hand up for 20 minutes, 20 long minutes. So overtime, Tintin, you are still gonna be here facilitating.
I'm staying. I don't want to miss this.
Me neither.
Okay, yeah, I think since Michelle was, she had put her hand up first, let's go straight to Michelle for your question.
Curious, what was your main motivation to stay strong and push through despite everything that was going on?
I think I touched on this very briefly, but my parents, my parents still are extremely important to me, and so being strong for my children is just really emulating what my parents did for me. My mother was as I said, a cancer warrior. I believe she fought that disease, okay? And her main motivator was her children, right? So I want to be that. I want to be that for, in facing all that I have to face. I remember my mother and my father, of course. And that really, really sets the momentum for me. I still, everything that I do, I still wish that I could tell her all about it. Yeah. Hard question.
Wow.
Zubaidah, there are so many people. I'm quite sure there will be people who have lost their parents young. How do you talk? I mean, how do you deal with it? Do you talk to your mom? What can young people do if they have lost loved one? Tintin, I'm trying to control myself.
No, that was a good one. I was thinking the same. Thank you, Shaun.
How do you cope with loss?
Yeah.
You live.
That's brutal.
Wow.
That's brutal. Come on.
Yeah, you live. You make that decision to live, so that you can leave something behind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just live.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from, actually. I want to cry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful answer. I feel like, yeah. All right, should we go to our next question? I think Ryan was next, or Nadia. I think we'll go with Ryan first, because I think I saw him go. He would put up his hand second. So,
Wait, I thought Nadia was first.
oh, was Nadia first?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. All
Yes.
right, let's go to Nadia. Hi, Nadia.
Hi, Faten. Hi, Lailatul.
Hello. Hello.
I have talked to Puan Zubaidah before this on LinkedIn because
Oh,
you commented on my post.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Shaun. Thank you for inviting YPN and Global Shapers in this. I'm a supporter and I'm also a member of YPN and Global Shapers. So my question to Puan Zubaidah is, there is a quote that I like from my inspiration, which is, who is Les Brown? He said that making million is not hard, but believing is hard. So how do you keep abundant mindset and believe in your dreams and that your future is going to be better than where you are right now? Yeah, because believing can be hard because we cannot see what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, so that's my question.
Okay. I think my advantage is that I am a parent. And because I am a parent, I have to be all that I want my children to be. Okay. And so, I want them to be, men of faith. I have to be a person who practices their faith. I want them to be hardworking. I have to be that example. They're watching me every day. Okay. They're watching me every day. So I would say that is probably what keeps me on track. Yeah. I think that's it.
all right.
Thank you, Puan.
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, now let's go to Ryan for his question.
I'm so sorry, I actually have two questions.
Oh
So-
no.
So the first one for Miss Zubaidah is,
Yeah.
how can you be so open recalling these events? Like, I'm sure it's not easy. Like, you seem so open about it. You see, you even made, I think like people hearing this, right, will set themselves, man.
I told this, I said this to Fatin when we were having our prep sessions. There is strength in being vulnerable. Yeah. In sharing the things that have hurt you, because that actually takes a lot of courage. Okay, it takes a lot of courage. I think I would tell my children, that it's not a weakness. It's not a weakness to share, to share your vulnerability. It's not. And so I think that is something that must change. And for me, of course, I start with my own children. So that's how I am open, because I believe in that. I have conviction that sharing these things that have happened to me will help another person somehow. You become a lighthouse for other people who might head towards the same rocks.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That's actually very helpful. Then very helpful knowledge. For the second question, I just want to ask, because you made the decision to quit your job, right?
Yes.
When you quit your job, were you because we all normally want to get a job to earn money. So when you quit your job, right, were you worried about your financial position? Because I think that would be hard also, right? Like facing another problem from another problem.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I would say yes. And also, when you have a special needs child, it can be a really, really expensive journey because of all the therapy that is necessary to help your children. And as I say, and as I said earlier, that kind of adversity, that kind of outcome, that kind of bad outcome, that worrisome outcome, is the driver really for you to innovate, to look introspectively and think, what can I do? You see, it all comes back down to that. You know, you will have to ask yourself, what can I do to help myself? So yeah, you just look inwards and then you get creative.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't
you,
know.
Miss Zubaidah.
Yeah, okay.
Those were awesome questions. Thank you, Ryan.
I'm feeling the
Um,
heat a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question comes from Nur Mariam.
Thank you,